Oh, what's going on, people? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Saeed TV. Nurin made it in Fergie time, but we're here. Big up to everybody, man. Straight Jacket Podcast 257. We are here and we are talking about Manchester United in a, I would say, in a negative way because that's what they throw at us, man. You know what I'm saying to you? But Nuruddin, what are you saying? How's everything doing? You know what? How you dealing with the cold, man? Because it is absolutely
Right.
brick out here, as they call it. It is brick, mate. What is going on, man? Like generally, I'm going outside now, and I'm like, I've got my hood up, I've got my snood up, I've got everything up, mate. I'm just dreading it on Wednesday, man. I'm dreading it on Wednesday, mate. You know what I'm saying? But how
Oh,
are
I'm
you, man?
dreading. Listen. I'm dreading being out of football. I'm not dreading a cold. I'm dreading being taken the mick out of, lad. That's what I'm dreading. Oh
You know what? It's
gosh,
cold
that's what
football,
I'm
isn't it? You know
dreading,
what I mean?
bro. That's what
It's
I'm
cold
dreading.
football, man. Yeah, man. But big up to
Trust
everybody who's
me.
there, man. As
I'm
long as
trying
you
to.
haven't got the go on.
I'm trying, Saeed. I'm genuinely trying to be in a positive mind before I walk into that stadium because Saeed, I'm not lying. I don't know if you saw. I did a match preview on United Real Therapy on Friday, right? Friday night.
Yeah, yeah.
I literally everything I said happened, bro, except for the goals. I said it'll be 4 or 5 because I said if
Could
we
have been.
vacate the midfield, yeah, and I actually just got to give a bit of hand to that we didn't concede as many goals. But at the end of the day, bro, it's when you know you can predict what's going to happen in the game. I talked about Manchester United and Newcastle. Everything that Newcastle is, Manchester United are not. Everything Manchester United is, Newcastle. You know what I mean? It's that way as well. Everything Newcastle is, Manchester United are not. And everything Manchester United is, Newcastle are not. In terms of, forget about anything else. Like, forget about tactics, yeah? It's just the bottle and the fight and the pride, right? And certain people go, but the players ran. Listen, players can run and pretend to do what I coined a phrase in it. We do what's called shadow pressing. You know what I mean? I can shadow press all day. I can just literally on the street, like go also try it, people. If you live in a country, if you're living in Europe and it's quite dark, seasonal, when it's dark, go outside, get underneath the street light, and I want you to shadow press your own shadow. You can do it clearly. Those of you who live in sunny places, you can do it as well. I've seen Newcastle literally grabbing players. They get off the fucking ball. Get off that ball. Give me that ball. Saeed, once you got those basics, get off the ball. Give me that ball. Winning it back. Saeed, yep. I promise you, everything what people are saying, people, I saw it in January, and I'm going to have to say it, remind you lot, because you were calling me negative. When everybody was going for these things, I was saying, this is not happening. And now, Saeed, we can't even. The biggest thing for me is this year. What I don't understand is that I remember I looked at Ten Hag's body language. I don't want to turn you back. I don't know if I've said it on here, but the pre-season started, something was off. That first press conference, something's off. I genuinely 100% believe there's something else going on because last season started, it's very difficult. Even though we were not playing good football, in terms of Darwin tools, there's something else going on. When you remember Ten Hag praising Varane
Wants to get sacked. Years. That's why. No, but you know what it is, Lord. You have to call it as you see it. He wants to get sacked, man. He's calling for himself to be sacked. He's doing things that he knows full and well, yeah, Nuruddin, that isn't right. He knows what's going on. He knows Rashford is out of form, but he keeps playing him. There's some things that the manager knows, but he's a stubborn manager. That's what he is. He's a stubborn manager, and he clearly doesn't have a clue what he's doing. And he's just faking it until he makes it. I never, you know, Nuruddin, remember when I said to you outside Old Trafford, yeah? Before I do the match reaction, I come out of the ground, yeah? This is when I was 10 Hag in. I used to say, is he all right in the head? Does he want himself sacked? I used to tell you, didn't I? And then the Manchester derby, I was like, you know what? Forget this. I'm going to call him out, mate, because I'm tired of him, yeah? Just blagging it, making every excuse under the sun. He's going on before the game saying Newcastle played on Tuesday and we played on Wednesday, so therefore they're in better shape or whatever. Listen, man, are you seriously out of your mind? They have got the amount of injuries that they've got here, Nordin, is crazy. They brought on 2 subs. One was a keeper and one was Matt Ritchie.
12.
We had 12. Yes. 12 injuries. And yet we're complaining about, oh, it's Lisandro Martinez is not back. Bullshit, man. He's got players on the bench, but he's not playing them. Mourinho did this before. Mourinho had players and he didn't play them out of sabotage because he was like, you know what? I want to get sacked. This manager wants to get himself sacked. I'm telling you now, guys, watch his body language. Watch the excuses. Watch it. I've seen this before. I've seen this before. They come out and they make these little excuses here, and everyone just starts to think, hold on a minute. And then obviously upstairs, they're going to be like, hold on a minute. What's he talking about here? And then obviously then P45 comes out, he gets a big payoff. See you later. Bye-bye. Finesse you lot. I'm going back to wherever you want, wherever I want to go.
Yeah. It's to me on the basics. Like to me, I always call it the Jackie Norrie stories, innit? Like Ollie was margins. Ten Hag in the past, like in 2 months, was like no excuses, but then he's using every excuse in the book. And then he says, oh, yeah, we have to travel here. You can't use that as an excuse. And I'm like, so why are you mentioning it then? Why are you mentioning? Oh, God forbid, professional footballers who are multimillionaires have to take a coach for 3 hours, like us immortal beings. They're immortal, aren't they? Like us mortal beings, they have to sit in a coach, in a most decked out coach where the most legroom is, in almost like a double decker, massive, huge bus. They can't sit in it for 3 hours while they've got each other, they've got their music, they've got their tablets, they can watch movies, they can do whatever, right? They can even talk about how you're gonna fucking run back today, Marcus Rashford or Martial. Scott McTominay, you know, 1 for 1 for one fucking game. You're not gonna disappear. You're not gonna do the fucking
you can't play that game. You can't play that game. That doesn't happen.
Like
that doesn't happen, Nordin.
So in these 3 hours, you could do, you know what's called reasoning. If you know the man them know something called reasoning. Reasoning. Yeah. It is what it is, people. I just see it for what it is. At this moment in time, honestly, it's not even I'm Ten Hag outside, and I called it the same as you. I think I said it a long time ago.
Are you Ten Hag out?
No. I said no point saying it. I said Ten Hag is Ten Hag out. We've done a show where
I know you mean.
Ten Hag now.
I get that.
Every manager gets to a certain extent where he is himself out. Listen, Saeed, I'm not gonna lie to you. Yeah, I know there's no football structure. I know the PR machine is here. I know for every manager that comes to Manchester United, it's going to be very difficult. Saeed, my problem and what we're going to get to in United Real Therapy later, I want to hear solutions. But genuinely, if you, Saeed, you know me, right? You know me. I think if people who don't know me, Saeed, sometimes think that what I just say things for saying say. Like I don't believe them.
Yeah.
Like genuinely, hand on my heart, this is what I think and believe. I genuinely do not believe anybody can fix this unless you get rid of the 8 to 10 players who got rid of the 2 other managers. Unless they're out of the club, you can't get rid of. You can't. And then the next manager that comes inside, listen to me. The next manager that comes in was picked by Ten Hag, and to me, when he said that side, when Ten Hag said, "I'm not here to play that football at Manchester United," I'm like, so why the fuck did he buy Lisandro Martinez? Why the fuck did he bring Anthony? And why the hell do you then to say we want to play football? Like I don't understand. So for me. No.
He lied on his CV. He lied on his CV. He lied to get the job, yeah? I'm telling you right now, he's lied to get the job. And this bullshit here about the club have told me to get results, mate. They could have said that to Jose Mourinho, but they sacked him. They could have said that to Van Gaal. They sacked him. So I'm sorry, Nordin. I don't buy into the bullshit here that he's come out and said, yeah, the club have bought me here for results. Of course they bought you for results.
When did
he said it on press conference. He said, the club have bought me in to get results. You told me the same thing. I'll bring you the quote. I don't know if he said it already. So this idea, every manager's here for results, Loaded. But you were here to bring your philosophy to Manchester United. I'm not saying bring the whole of Ajax to our front door and then we're all good. I'm saying bring your fundamentals to the football club. But no, he gets dictated by Marcus Rashford, Bruno Fernandes, McTominay, and all these players here because they run around in training more. But in terms of the quality, in terms of what you know is possession-based football, that was what happened at Ajax, Nordin. Possession-based football. Then he says, I can't do it here. Why can't you do it here? He's a walking contradiction. You can do it here. You bought players in, but now they don't fit the style that you did before. So I don't understand it for me.
Listen, there's something severely going on, and hopefully one day in a book we'll find out. But let me just say this, right? I'll say this to say that I 100% do not feel in my hand of heart that one person can come in and fix this. I genuinely don't. So the biggest thing is that what do we guys want? Do we want Steve McLaren, right? Or Darren Fletcher and Stephen McLaren to take over to the end of the season, and then the players properly down tool and write the season off, right?
Yeah.
Or do we give him till the end of the season and then just say, Eric Ten Hag, we brought you in to play football, you've not been, and the fans just say, thank you, Eric, ta-ra. Because for me, the idea is at this moment in time, unless you bring in like someone like Hansi Flick right now, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then backing him in January. But Saeed, we're not that club. We're not stable. We're not backing jack shit. And majority of Muppets on Twitter are telling me, by the way, that 25% Jim, the vanity prick, is going to fix it. He ain't fixing shit. Because as long as you got group of core players, Saeed, 8 players were on that pitch. Eight of the people that got Ollie sacked were on that pitch.
Yeah.
And at least 4 or 5 of the people that got Jose the sack were on that pitch.
So why is he picking these players, by the way? Why is he picking these players?
No, sorry, because
Explain that to me.
But listen, but that's where, for me, something fundamentally didn't happen. He came in, yeah, he gave Scott McTominay the first couple of things. He gave him 6 or 7 games, yeah, till Casemiro got up to speed. After that, we didn't see Scott McTominay. Remember, we were seeing Scott McTominay 10 minutes here, 15 minutes here, right?
Yeah.
He came in after that. He said, you know what, Harry Maguire is done out here, yeah? So Harry Maguire, Scott McTominay, and the people forget that Wan-Bissaka. Do you remember? All of the rumors were these guys are gunners. And then in the summer side, he said he wanted to get rid of all these players. The club only got rid of who? One guy, Fred. The only season pro got. I personally think he was like, you know what? F this then.
Fred wanted to leave. Fred wanted to leave.
Fred wanted to leave because Fred was like, I want more minutes. Fred was like, I ain't coming here. He was perfect because he was there to close out games for us. But Fred was like, nah, I want more minutes, man. I put in a shift here. Do you know what I mean? I run around. I put in the tackles. And even if I'm not great on the quality, and we didn't want it. And that's the biggest thing. I look at the fan base and think, in that moment, in that mode, we were like, get somebody better than Fred. And in the moment, I'm like, give me 11 Freds. At least they'll run around and put a foot in. At this moment in time, it's surreal. So for me, something fundamentally happened.
Do you believe Eddie Howe's a better manager than Ten Hag?
Saeed, on this moment in time, but then I look at Saeed, look, Saeed, I look at it.
Forget about the structure. Forget about the structure, philosophy.
Saeed, you can't divorce that.
But no, I'm not saying, I'm not here for that, Nordin. I'm not here for that. No, but the thing is,
you can't divorce that, though. You can't.
No, but it's not divorcing that.
You can't.
I'm talking about. No,
Saeed, I look at Newcastle. Let me break it down for you. I look at a Newcastle team where massive, lots of the stands in the stadium were empty. There were so many fans protesting outside, telling other fans not to go in. And then they were in the doldrums for a decade in green. He comes in, he's trying to get them to survive. Straight away, the club gets sold. What happens, Saeed? Synergy. Fans, club, manager, coaching staff.
We had synergy last season. We had synergy last season. We had synergy last season, Nordin. No, can I just explain? I'm talking about a manager. I'm talking about a manager. Manager for manager, philosophy for philosophy. Let's talk about that. Forget about the structure.
It does look like that. It does.
But again, you can't pick and choose when you talk about structure, though.
But last season we didn't have synergy. Because why the fuck was I ringing the alarm at January? Why the hell do you think I just want to be negative for negative sake when I was telling people this football is unsustainable? And I was even talking about Rashford's form, saying Rashford might be scoring, but he ain't doing jack in the game. He just pops up and scores. Do we want something like that? I was talking about these things. So for me, I'm telling you, I am not as angry. I am not. I'm angry when people throw the ball in the net like fucking Unana. I'm angry at that because I'm like, these are like the most. You're just literally.
And he's fixed him as well.
Saeed, to me, that was it for me. It was the time. And the biggest thing for me is what I'm really confused about. And I promise you, if he's still here by then, I'm looking to go on a couple of bike rides with a crew, yeah, where he cycles, yeah. And I'm hoping and begging I see him. I'm hoping and begging I see him. And you know what? Last time, twice I didn't speak to him. Yeah? I just said hello to him. Yeah, I didn't speak to him because his missus was there. Innit? You know what? My motto is no children. No partners, no children. Yeah, for me, I wanted to tell him. We're not here to get smashed 7 or 6. No, remember this. We shut up shop. I don't care if we defend for our lives. We're not doing this. So, Saeed, I just want to ask him this question, specific question. Eric, how the hell did you think that football was sustainable with those 14 players. And you know what, Saeed? I swear to God, it's almost like he's talking to me through the press. What am I always saying? Rotate. Don't burn players out. And you know what? He came out the other week, and guess what he said? He said, "Oh, we get the repetitions through having that like small group of squad." I'm like, this ain't the area fucking division, mate. He came out and basically said, in matches we get the repetitions and the patterns to play come when we have the fully fit squad. And I'm like, but you're not going to have nobody's going to have a fully fit squad. Nobody. There's been 109. Listen to me.
But that's what I keep saying to you, though, Nuruddin. In terms of what Eddie Howe has done, no, but in terms of Eddie Howe, yeah, you're talking about when there's injuries here. I think it's an excuse sometimes here. Eddie Howe.
No.
But let me hear me out.
I think you misunderstood, though. I think you misunderstood my point.
I haven't misunderstood
my point.
I'm not
talking about the injuries. I'm talking about him literally doubling down, saying, I want to repeat and burn for 13 players, 14 players out again. And I'm just like, this ain't the area division. You've had 1 year of the Premier League, and you're not getting that. So for me, Saeed, 100%. Eric Ten Hag is looking to sack himself. But for me, I don't believe anybody's going to fix it. But go ahead. I'm going to move.
No, but the thing is, big up to Brian, by the way. Brian's in the building as well, by the way. Big up to Brian. Let me go change it to that one. Big up to you. My thing is, right, we use injuries as too much of an excuse. Injuries for me, man, they're an excuse. When you look at the football we're playing right now, these injuries, we're talking about one player that's out. But Eddie Howe has got 13 to 14 guys out here, but you can see there's a style, there's an identity of where they want to play. They had six defenders against us in the Carabao Cup. They tore us apart, man. Ten Hag hasn't got a leg to stand on. So whether you get injuries back or not, we still got to beat 7-0. We got to beat 6-3. But we let it slide because we were like, you know what? It's the first season. We're still seeing the same mistakes that he did in the first season. And it's not improving. It's not improving. You see what I'm trying to say? So this idea that injuries are an excuse, it's not. And Eddie Howe is showing him. Eddie Howe is showing him with injuries, he has a clear philosophy and a plan.
And let me say this. I put a tweet out yesterday. Ten Hag, we thought when we were getting Ten Hag, Andrew's the manager that thought that we were getting a guy who literally believes in and 100% committed to his system and believes and a commitment to the way he wants to play, regardless what anybody says. And Ten Hag, Saeed, for me, he lost the fans, and I understand all the fans that Ten Hag got when he said, "Oh, I can't play this football. I can't." But Saeed, I want to make this. I understand you can't use injuries as a thing, but I want to please explain majority of you to this. Manchester United are not Newcastle. Manchester United are not Spurs. Manchester United is a unique, toxic, rotten to the core football club. We don't know why players are walking around. They did it with Oli. They run around with Ten Hag, and then the next year they do it again. Now, I was ringing the alarm, and I was saying, boys and girls and anybody, I was telling everybody and their nana that this fatigue is going to come because I saw it happen to Liverpool. I saw it. And people were telling me I was negative. And I was like, this football is unsustainable. Because deep down, Saeed, we know we've been starved since Van Gaal. We've been starved seeing any team that looks like it's being coached. We were here ripping into Michael Carrick, ripping into Kieran McKenna, ripping into, what was his name? Like he wears the shorts. Mickey Phelan. Midfield. Yeah, Midfield. Saying, what are they doing? Eric Ten Hag and blatantly, and the biggest thing about what I like about Eric Ten Hag is that he's been honest. He's like, I want everybody back so that we can do the patterns. And I'm like, you're never going to do that in the fucking Premier League. You know what, Eric? And the fact that you've not realized that, it shows me. So he's the guy, Eric Ten Hag is the manager that we thought Ange is. Right? And that is what is happening. And I looked at Ange yesterday. Now, the City game, I'm telling you, in that first half, they could have been 6-0 down. But you know what, Saeed? I saw him playing Son, Kukulevsky, and that kid, that Spanish kid. All four of them up the pitch going, we're going to put pressure on you.
That's bravery.
And you know what? I swear to you guys, I promise you, if any Manchester United manager was that brave. Now, a lot of you will be on here going, nah, he needs to get sacked because we're getting beat. You know what I'll be like? No, we're not fucking sacking a manager that believes in the system. Believe in the manager and the system. And when he gets better players, he will then benefit. We will see the benefits. Be patient. But at this moment in time, he's gone exact opposite to everything. He's talking
So
to me personally.
that's why I'm like, why are we wasting our time? I just sack him. That's my energy.
But who's gonna fix it?
No, hold on.
You know what they're gonna do? You know what they're gonna do? You know what they're going to do? What have they done? In the last 10 years, they sacked a manager. What did they do? They go for 9 interims, and then, they go Ollie like. So, are we going to get Michael Carrick to the end of the season, or Michael Carrick going to take the job?
No, listen. There's managers available.
Tell me who's going to get.
Managers available. Listen, hold on a minute. There's managers available. Apparently, no, but hold on a minute.
Who wants to come to Manchester United? Tell me.
Can you let me finish? There's managers available. There's a new owner apparently coming in, and he's bringing his football structure. So apparently, hold on a minute. So no, this is where I'm coming to. So everybody's saying there's a new football structure coming in, and be excited, yeah? So I'm going to use their words right now. I'm going to be excited, yeah? And I'm going to say that the new football structure comes in, and they pick their man. It's not down to us, by the way, just to pick a manager and whoever wants. The football structure that everybody's getting excited by, not me. They're the ones that are going to bring the manager in that's going to play football, going to play style of play. Yes, the Glazers up, still up there, but they come in and they pick their man. So it's not down to you, Nuruddin, say what now. Because everybody keeps saying what now, what next. What about what now? I can't tolerate this anymore. This is not, for me, good enough. This is shocking. This manager, for me, yeah, when you look at it, for me, when you look at the manager we brought in, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he had no expectation. This guy has disappointed me more than Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was never a manager. This guy's come in here and he's conned his way in. He's lied on his CV. And for me, he has to go. He's come in and said, I'm not playing the Ajax way. So for me, you need to get out, mate. Simple as that. If you're not playing the football that we want to play, then why are you here for, my friend? And you keep playing Rashford as well. By the way, I need to talk about Rashford. And Brian, big up to you for coming on. Welcome to the channel. But Rashford, for me, yeah, the media are an absolute joke, mate. I've got Jamie Carragher as well talking about Martial. Listen, Martial can get his criticism, by the way, but the way soon as Martial all want to jump on a bandwagon for Martial, yeah, but then they want to protect the guy called Marcus Rashford. This brother, yeah, does not need protecting anymore. He's 26. He's not a baby anymore. Stop protecting this guy. This guy is not a baby anymore. He can walk on his own 2 legs. And he needs to be criticised the way he needs to be criticised. It's as simple as that. Marcus Rashford has no God-given right to escape criticism. It's a joke, man. And the media right now, see what they're trying to do. They're trying to paint out certain man, but they're trying to say, you know what, for certain other man, you know what, it's all good. He gets it. He's man born and bred. He's okay. He gets the badge. It's bullshit, man. He don't get no badge, mate. He's on the same level, yeah, as all these wingers that have come before him. Theo Walcott, Aaron Lennon, the same level, man. I don't know why we're putting them above these guys' levels. Seriously. These guys were good wingers, you know. They were good average wingers. They weren't special, but these guys did a job in the Premier League. Theo Walcott did a job. Aaron Lennon did a job in the Premier League.
Season, though. They never scored 30 goals a season, Saeed.
Listen, hold on a minute. This is what I'm trying to say, though. This is what I'm trying to say, yeah. These goals, yeah, are fooling everyone. He has a good season, he has a bad season. But if you look at his overall play, yeah, he's average. He is average. His overall play for me is average. But this guy, Aaron Lennon, had a solid game. You knew what it was about.
But it was only one thing, though. But it was one thing, and the team was accustomed to him. Is him getting outside and then cross the ball in for Peter Crouch at the back post. We've never had a structure in our club or in our teams where players knew what to do. Even now, and that's the thing that I want to blame Ten Hag for as well, is that he came in and we all thought, or we had a dream that he was going to come in and players knew what to do, and it looked like it from last season. But now it's vanished. But I can't really say. The thing is with Marcus Rashford, when you see him play, yes, he has a bit of a tendency to have low IQ, but to say that he's on the level of Aaron Lennon and Walker, that's a bit too harsh for me, because he's shown at times where he can overstep that level. He's just not consistent enough, and maybe that's a story of a player that is never going to be 100% consistent. But to put them to put him on the same level as other players, I don't really agree. And I think I'm going to keep saying this. I think when a manager comes in and simplifies players' roles and make it more clear, I think it will be better. I've seen the clip today because it was swerving around with him talking to Gary Neville and not liking to play on the right wing because of the angles and everything. And even if you look at his overall position in this season and compared to last season, he's playing more wider. So his role has been changed. And even in preseason, every time he starts playing there through the middle, and then he plays on the left and he plays on the right. There's no structure for these players. Everyone plays our position besides Bruno, because he usually plays in the middle. He played a few games on the right wing, but he usually plays on the middle. But everyone else is being shifted out, having to swap positions, and that's one of the reasons why, if you compare to other teams like, let's say, Tottenham, they know who's going to play where. Even at the start of the season, they played Son on the left, and they played Richarlison through the middle. Didn't work out. Then they played him through the middle. But these players already know their roles and where they need to play throughout the season. So that's why I think as well, injuries and everything will have, because I understand where people say, but you have to look at how Spurs were playing the last few weeks when they had injuries, and obviously a few men came back, but they looked worse as well. They don't look as great. So they have a starting 11 to 13, 14 man that Ange wants to use, and it looks good. Why does he take off Gil at halftime? Because we're all raving about him being on the high press, but he takes him off at halftime for a certain reason. So the same thing with Ten Hag, and that's the mistake that he made last year, was he picked 13 to 14 players that he wanted to work with. You use them throughout the season, and then half of them already binned them off with Fred and all of these players that he wanted to get rid of. But the thing with Ten Hag is, and I understand where he says, I want to do the patterns when all these players come back, is when he has his starting 11, I think he has a certain vision. But for me, and I disagree with what he says, you need to have a squad that's able to, you need to have 16, 17, 18 man who knows how to play, who knows how to play how he likes it.
He has brought that. He's brought 7 in. He's brought 7 in, and he don't want them anymore. He's brought Højlund, he was on the bench. Amrabat, he was on the bench. Reguilon, who again, we needed a left back. Oh, but he's playing Dalot at left back, who's absolutely average, by the way. That's another one we gave a new contract under this manager, by the way. Under this manager, another contract. He's average as well, by the way. Then you got Amrabat in there. Who else is there? There's so many players. Varane is on the bench, right? And he's keeping Maguire and Shaw as centre backs. Got Varane on the bench. A better defender than both of them, by the way. And then we conceded so many shots.
But it's true, but
so at the end of the day, there's no excuses. You can say, he needs 14 players. He's brought in Mason Mount, who he didn't use. He's brought in these guys who he's not using. So I agree with that. This idea that the manager hasn't been backed. He has been backed.
No, he has been backed.
What are you talking about?
He hasn't. Not all the players that he wants to play have been available at the same time. That's just a fact.
Like you. From
the start of the season, Shaw wasn't there, Martinez wasn't there, Casemiro has been injured for a long time, Mainu was injured for a long time, Højlund was injured for the first period of the season. His right winger was gone.
Shaw was available. Shaw was available until when? The Tottenham game, was it? So he was available for 3 or 4 games. Lisandro was available until Arsenal, right? So available until Arsenal. That's 2 players. So it's okay, half. Okay. One thing, by the way, injuries are part of football, and they happen in the season. Can we all just accept that in football, by the way, that injuries are part of football, and it shouldn't deter you from realizing that still other people who you bring in still can do the job. I.e., flipping Newcastle, they got Lascelles at the back, and he now is a top performer for them. Normally it's Botman and Shaw, but Lascelles done a job right now. There's other people. Miley's 17 years old. Why is he performing for Newcastle? But we can't get McTominay, who's a seasoned pro, to perform for Man United. How's that possible?
We got Maino that comes in and he looks all right. So it's the same. It's few players that will come in and do well. There's few players that will come in and do well. But the thing is, with the way Newcastle play, it's a bit, I'm not going to say it's a bit easier, but the way they play, it's easier to fit in players. And that's just a fact.
Nah, that's a
cop-out. Eddie Howe has been there longer and has worked longer with these players.
He's only been there 1 year longer. He's only been there. 2021 he came in.
But he didn't get rid of everyone. He didn't come out and say, I need 7 more players. Ten Hag came in.
You as a manager, Brian, you as a manager need to be there to make it easier for these players to work in your environment. If you're not there...
No, but that's where you're missing the point. When Eddie Howe came in at Newcastle, or when he took over, and then there was a big takeover with Saudi Arabia, he had his squad and he added players, but he didn't really get rid of a lot of players. The thing with United, when Ten Hag came in, he knew before he needs to get rid of 10 players at least, because that's what Rannick said, but that's what everyone sees. He needs to get rid of 10 players. So you can't really come in and be like, okay, I want to work with you lot for the next 2-3 years, 20 man, 25 man, but knowing that you're going to get rid of.
Why does he keep playing them then? Why does he keep playing them?
Because not everyone has been fit at the same time. You know this.
That's bullshit. McTominay doesn't have to play. But who has to play?
Okay, but Amrabat is not performing though.
Bro,
And it's about
Hold on a minute. So hold on a minute. So when does it matter? So when does a guy get some experience in my United team? If you're saying already, that they're not performing. McTominay's not performing. So what's the solution?
No, but it's about how he builds up his midfield. If you look at how he's trying to play, you can't play Amrabat next to Maino because he wants a midfielder next to Maino that is gonna.
That isn't working.
I don't know.
That isn't working, by the way.
I know it's not working, but wait,
working.
listen to what I'm trying to say. Yeah, he wants, when he looks at his midfield, he says, okay, Bruno's 10, we know that, and he wants a midfielder that's gonna pick up the ball and play out, and he wants a midfielder that can infiltrate sometimes, and that's what McTominay does. Amrabat is not a midfielder that's gonna infiltrate. That's why he tried to play with Casemiro and Mason Mount, because he can infiltrate, he can get goals, he can try to be more productive in the final third. And let's face it, McTominay has that. He's not a good footballer building up wise. He's not a good footballer in transition.
You can replace them goals. What you're getting from McTominay, you can replace that with
but with who? But with who? Right now, you can't replace.
I can tell you, this is what I'm saying. You're not understanding. You can play Kobe Mino and Amrabat, play Bruno further forward, right?
That's missing the point. That's what I'm trying to say. You can't. Amrabat is not going forward as McTominay. He doesn't do what McTominay does.
Nobody's that idea. You don't need to go forward. That's the whole problem as to why we're conceding shots. You're saying something. You're enabling what's going wrong, Brian. That's what you don't get. You're enabling what Ten Hag's doing wrong.
How are we going to score goals if no one else scores goals? McTominay is the only one. It's weird, but he's the only one that actually goes into the box and scores goals. So you can't replace 0 goals with no goals, because we don't have goals in our team. So I get it. I don't like McTominay playing. Let's just make that clear. But I understand where in this structure of midfield he has to play. Because no one else is going to do what he does.
You love McTominay, Brian. You love McTominay.
I don't love McTominay.
Stop lying. Your bed sheets have got McTominay.
It's not McTominay at the top there. It's not McTominay at the top there. But no, can I just say something, by the way? By the way, big up to Chris Clark. He says, Carragher's comments regarding Martial were discussing. I support Arsenal. We'll take him in a second. And big up to Adam. Big up to Adam Fahim. He says, Rashford is atrocious. Compared to Lennon is generous. We need to F him off ASAP, along with the rest of the mediocrity court we have. Big up to Adam. My thing is, look, guys, and I come to you, maybe, Lorden. Manchester United, can be a better footballing team without McTominay being in there and scoring these little 1-2 given goals, where we could play better football.
Give and go. What have you ever done? Give and goes.
I'm trying to say. You're concentrating on goals too much, Brian. You're concentrating on goals too much.
You're not listening.
Football is not all about goals. I get it. We can score goals and what. You have to control games.
You're missing the point. I'm not saying he scores goals. I'm just saying in the midfield that Ten Hag plays. If you look at how he structures,
it's not working. Clarify it's not working. Then clarify it's not working.
It's not. Obviously, it's not working. We've seen that. But I'm not trying to say if it works or not. I'm just saying how he builds his midfield. He wants certain players to do a specific job. Let's say if you play Donny Van de Beek, because he's someone that can come into the box and score goals, and Maino, that makes more sense because he's a better player. But I'm just saying he wants a player in midfield that can come, drop deep, get the ball. He wants a player in midfield for transition-wise where he can get the ball from our half to their half, but also can infiltrate, and then he wants a creator up top. The number 10, Bruno Fernandes. That's why he played at the start of the season. He played Casemiro, someone that's going to drop deep. He can't really pick up the ball, but someone that's going to drop deep. He wants Mason Mount on that right-hand side of the midfield that's going to play transition football, but also can score goals if needed. And he has a creator. That's what he always does. Even in pre-season, we saw it when we played with Casemiro and Maino. Even though it was for 10 minutes, Maino dropped deep and Casemiro was playing higher because he proved last season as well they can score goals, they can add. So he always likes a midfield that's going to infiltrate. Same thing when he played with Ajax and he played with Lasse Schöne, Frankie, and he played with Donny van de Beek. There was always one player. Lasse Schöne is a playmaker. Frankie was your deep line player that is going to get the ball. And he always has one player that can play box to box and come into the box. I'm not saying McTominay has to play, but in this structure and where he wants to play football, even if it's structure, it doesn't make sense.
Even if it's structure,
I know, but
even if it's structure, McTominay is never ever good enough to be a Man United player. Whatever structure you want, you can have Fulan. Listen, nothing will help McTominay. Yeah. You could have any system. McTominay does not work in. Let me just get this super chat here. MUFC Realist TV says media protectors of British and the curse what's foreign. So Jim is their hero and Sheikh Jassim is the villain. Now it's double straight jacket agenda. I turn to Ten Hag doubt Rashford out. Let's turn back to Rashford, by the way. Nurdin, the manager's keen on still playing him, by the way.
Just hold that question 1 second, right? I understand what Brian's trying to say. Brian, can I just say something, bro?
Go on.
Right? Listen, we clearly understood and see last season, other than the first 7 games where McTominay, 8 games, and McTominay was in. After that, McTominay was reduced to a bit back player coming in for the last 10 minutes, especially when we play teams that cross the ball. He was coming in and getting in there, right? Mm-hmm. This season, he scored goals where the ball takes 10 deflections and somehow he can put a leg on it. And he can put a leg on it and he can put his head on it. I looked at that Galatasaray game. Scott McTominay had 2 shots. One from 30 yards. I've never seen him score from 30 yards in my life. He's not that guy. And then I saw him on the angle where usually Garnacho or Rashford are, on the angle about 15, 20 yards out, try to bend it to top corner when Diego Dalot was free there for a tap-in. I'm like, you're not that guy. For me, as a coach, when you do that, you're getting off that fucking football pitch. Yeah. So let me just say, I understand what you're saying. The idea that you can do this in the area divisor, right? Mm-hmm. What you just broke down about Donny van der Beek, Frankie de Jong, Schöne, the ball, how we use the 3 in midfield, right? You might work in a team where everybody's comfortable on the ball and there's a triangle. The reason why the Dutch style of football is global, the 4-3-3, is that the 4-3-3 constantly gives you triangles all over the pitch. Imagine, look at my fingers there. Can you see that? That's 1 player, 2 players. Yeah. So everywhere you turn on the pitch, Saeed, you look at it, right? You look at it, right? If you look at the left-hand side, you see the centre half, the left back, and the wide left midfield player there. And then if you take it up, you see the fullback coming up past the halfway line with a central left midfielder and the winger. There's always triangle. And why is the best thing to create triangle? 1 is to be comfortable and to control the game. 2nd is to create overloads on the pitch. And then you switch the play. And I looked at Brian, I looked at Ten Hag, and the last game that I actually enjoyed, Manchester United, where it was for 80 or 70-something minutes or 80 minutes of domination, was Spurs 2 years ago. Yeah. Spurs 2 years. No, Spurs a year ago. Last season. It was a 2-0. Bruno and Fred scored the 2 goals. That was the last game where Manchester United actually dominated somebody. Barcelona, you could say, but I'm not asked about the Europa League, right? But I look at that and I look at it and think, the biggest thing that I've learned about Ten Hag, right? I've known it before, but I learned is that Manchester United players have to have aggression, energy, and intensity, and physicality. If you don't have that, because at times what he does, he leaves man for man. He leaves man for man. But when I look at what Saeed's saying, I look at it and think, you're vacating the midfield, and on average, Manchester United are now conceding 20 to 17 to 20 shots to 25 shots. Yep. That is what we're conceding. So when I look at this, I think last season, when Ten Hag leaves Manchester United, I hope a journalist asked him, what was the priority when you came in? What did it change? Did you get so shook up because we lost to Brighton?
Pressure, Nuruddin. He's only managed Ajax. He's only managed Ajax, man. Nuruddin, you got to understand the pressure has got to him. He's only managed Ajax, yeah? We're going on like he's got some mad CV. He's gone to Ajax in the area. No, hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. Let me finish.
No, because that's wrong. No, I'm going to stop you because it's wrong.
Let me just finish, man. Let me finish my question.
He promoted a football club in Holland. He kept a team up that everybody thought was going to go down. He did a couple of things, before Ajax.
No, hold on a minute. Let me finish. Now, I'm talking about pressure. I'm not talking about how good he is as a manager or whatnot. I'm talking about pressure. He's only been at Ajax. He only knows the surroundings of Ajax. So he's come to the football club, realized maybe it's too big a job for him. He's actually crumbling right now beneath our eyes. So sometimes you're not cut out for a job. Sometimes the job can make you crumble. You know how many top managers have gone to certain clubs and crumbled? It's okay. Has he managed big egos? Yes or no? Has he managed big players? No, yes or no?
Listen to me.
Has he though? I'm asking you a question. Has he yes or no?
Nah.
So he hasn't then. These are big things, you have to do as a manager. It's not only been about great tactician. Sir Alex Ferguson was the best manager we've ever seen. This guy was good at dealing with egos. And when he knew what to do with them, he knew how to deal with them in the right way as well. Okay, the Beckham situation was a bad one, but and he admitted that was a mistake. But you've got to be a good manager. The way Ten Hag is right now what he's doing about tactics, about we need to play better football to certain legends that have played the game so long here. And I'm not asking for player power. What I'm saying to a manager is he has lost his head. He's rattled. He's waffling in press conferences. He's lying to us in our own eyes, and he don't know what to do. So he's almost asking to be sacked.
But one thing is true. I'm sorry, but this is what you have to concede.
You don't even rate the Eredivisie. So why you have this energy now? You don't even rate the Eredivisie.
No, listen.
You just said before. You just said before. No, but you can't contradict yourself.
No,
you can't contradict yourself.
Listen, I don't think you understand.
I don't understand.
No, but what you're saying is that he's only got Ajax. I said to you, the point that I was making is that to get the Ajax job, he was doing good things and there was good reputation of it. So let me say something. What you and the Ten Hag outers are not willing to accept that your fucking football club is fucked up. That your
I accept that. I accept that.
No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't.
No, I accept that.
I accept that. No, you don't.
No, but he is. Right now, it's not down to the manager. Right now, it's down to the manager.
Let me finish the point. Let me finish the point.
There's no structure on the football pitch.
Our football club is so fucked up. We get players.
And we're going to fix it. We're going to fix it. We're going to fix it. Jim Ratcliffe's coming in, by the way. He's coming in and he's going to fix it.
No, it's
not me. It's not me. It's not me saying that.
No, listen to me. Listen, let me just finish the point. Players who are balling at other clubs have come to Manchester United. They all go dead. Do you expect managers that even we don't like? I don't rate Jose Mourinho, but he became dead. Other players, other managers, they all become dead. The football club is so toxic. Any manager, any player, that we kill them. We ruin careers. Listen to me, Saeed. We had Donny van der Beek before he came to us. He was on the Ballon d'Or list. You know, now, in January, he's going to Galatasaray. This is what we do to players. Paul Pogba, the FIFA player, one of the young FIFA players of the year, whatever, at Juventus, comes to Manchester United. We used to blame him. And now I'm looking at the same thing about blaming one person. Manchester United fan base, because the way our club is, we always need a savior and we always need a scapegoat. Now, Marcus Rashford, I'll go to your question, was abysmal. But Saeed, I look at the manager on the touchline and I'm like, how does he come out in the second half? How? Because he leaned on him last season. We have to talk about the dynamics that are going on in the football club. When you play through two players, one of them you make tap captain, and the other one you think you're going to play him into form. That's not happening. You can't play players into form. But
so all things that the managers do. Two things can be right. Two things can be right. You can get rid of the manager. You can also understand that the football structure and everything around it is wrong.
Let me ask Brian.
This is what I'm trying to say. This is what I get it again. Hold on a minute. I can only go off what we're seeing right now. What we're seeing. What we're hearing right now is that Jim Ratcliffe is coming to the football club. Hold on a minute. Let me finish. I'm going by what I hear right now. And what I'm hearing right now is that Jim Ratcliffe is coming to the football club to change the structure. That's what we're hearing right now. I get it if the success rate might not be good.
Do you believe that?
Is what we're going by. I don't believe anything. You know I don't believe that. But I'm going by what the media propaganda, what everybody else has fallen through. And everybody else has fell through that. Everybody else said, Jim Ratcliffe's the guy. He's the guy to come forward. So I'm using your analogy now. Because everybody else is like, oh, but you can't use that. No, I'm using your analogy. So Jim Ratcliffe is coming to fix it. So now I'm saying they bring a manager to come and fix the solution right now, what we're seeing right now. It's simple as that. You can't have your cake and eat it. I'm sorry. You can't have your cake and eat it.
I want to eat my cake, mate. I'm a man who loves a cake. There's a fat kid inside this man that loves cake, people. You know what I mean? I'll send you post of it. Ouch, Scoldy. He's going at me.
Called your cat Scoldy.
No, but the thing is, right.
Scoldy, stop scratching me. Stop scratching me.
No, but the thing is, though. Yeah, big up Scoldy, man. To replace Rashford as a catastrophe. Big up Mickey, man. Big up Mickey, man. Guys, 1.3k in there, not even 500 likes, guys. Guys, make sure you like the video. 372 likes. We're going to get off in there, if you don't like the video, guys. Please
I'm
like the video.
Let me just speak to those people. You're adding insult to injury, people. We're mourning here. It's a morning. This is a morning, people. R.I.P. Manchester United. Saeed, I'm sorry. When you talk to me about I can't eat my cake and eat it, and this is what only thing we see. I saw this thing for the last 10 years, and no manager's fixing it. We went for Louis van Gaal, old school experience. We went for the trendy guy, Jose. We've gone on an Olig. Olig then gets the job on a technicality. Big up Andy Tate. Technicality, right? And then we go and get the guy that we all wanted, Saeed. Like I said, the guy has lied to us. But one day, I hope he writes the book on what changed his mind. Why did he change his mind? Why did he get away from his philosophy? And I want to ask the question to Brian. Brian, what's the point of getting Anthony? What's the point of getting Lautaro Martinez if you're not going to play a bit of possession football?
I have no. That's a big question. I don't know why you got Anthony. I think Lisandro made sense though, and if you've seen it when he plays, he adds more. Like he can break lines, very comfortable on the balls, very aggressive. Even with his like when we press as centre backs, he does that very well. But I don't know why he got Anthony, to be honest. Anthony was a bit of a question mark. But he was a player that was performing well in Holland. Was one of the names that was rising up. So yeah, you want to grab one of the players that you worked with. You know, sometimes you come to a new infrastructure and you want to have people that you know that you can trust, and you can tell that he trusts Anthony. He trusts Anthony because every time he's fit or he plays, and that's why I think he got Anthony's. He knows what he's going to get on that right hand side, and he got Sancho for the first few weeks, even though he tried to get Anthony before the season started. And he tried Sancho for the first few weeks, didn't work out, and then I think he put more pressure onto the board to get Anthony. But I don't agree with the Anthony signing. I was excited because obviously we needed someone on that right wing. But yeah, I can't tell you now why he's in the squad. He's a bit aggressive. That's the only thing I can say. He's a bit aggressive. He's too
Brian, and I really want to ask the second question. Just quickly, I want to ask a quick question. What are the people? What's the Flemish crew thinking about Ten Hag? What is happening at Manchester United? Are people blaming Eric Ten Hag, or are they thinking that it's the club because the club is just we're just broken?
The thing that we said on our podcast is that we acknowledge that the club is bad, but at a certain point you have to see coaching, and we don't see enough coaching from Ten Hag. We don't see
coaching.
Yeah, we don't see.
That's why I said he's the worst coach in the league. He's one of the worst coaches in the league, Ten Hag.
I agree.
You look at it, yeah. He's one of the worst coaches in the league.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they even. So you know what? I'm not going to lie to you. I don't think they even basically do anything in terms of like they don't even do anything in training. They just rest between games. That's what he talked about. The patterns and that during game time. And that's the thing I was warning against last season, Brian, where I was saying that you can't use the same 13, 14 players and burn them out. But he's not learned an absolute anything. For me, I totally understand the Ten Hag outers. But for me, it's like he's not learned. And the biggest thing for me is that I wanted a coach, Brian, and this is the reason why I chose him over Poch. And I was determined that to get him was like, I thought we were going to get somebody who was going to be, he was going to go down with a ship. Listen to me. He was going to go down with a ship. He was going to go down with a ship and had a complete belief like Ange Postecoglou at Spurs, literally have the most belief he's ever had in a system and give the players confidence. You know what? The winger, the Spurs winger, that they got from Juventus. That's what he said. Kulusevski. You know what Kulusevski said?
Yeah, I know.
You know what he said at halftime? He goes, play. He goes, we play more open, play, dribble, take people on. I'm like,
can I admit something? By the way, can I admit something? By the way, I was speaking earlier before. Yeah, if Ten Hag and Poch, if I knew about what they were going to do before a job, it's all fun and well hindsight. I would have picked Pochettino because I know then he would have had a style of play. But that's why I keep saying to you, lot. No, hold on a minute. That's why I'm saying to you, lot. Ten Hag is a con artist, mate. That's why for me, he lied on his CV. He said, I'm not playing the Ajax way. Did anyone think that before? If everybody thought that beforehand, and it was results-based business, we would have either got Conte, we would have had anyone else that was results-based. Everybody then would have said, you know what? Pochettino's the answer because at least then he will have a football idea and a philosophy that the players can buy into. Everybody would have said that. If he said he's not going to play the Ten Hag way, everyone would have been saying, you know what? No, we don't want him there. We don't really want a bit of you. We want the whole package of you. We want everything of you. Yes or no? Would everyone have said Pochettino? Yes or no?
100%.
Yes or no?
I was already.
That's what I'm saying.
I was already put in. But I have a question though. I have a question though. That's the only thing that I want to ask now is about Ten Hag. Yeah.
But you know what, Saeed? You know the thing about what you're feeling now. I already realized that in January. I already know that this way you're playing.
Fair.
I realized that in January, Saeed. What you're feeling at that frustration. I don't have that frustration. I have the frustration of the players, Brian. 8 of them played who got Oli the sack. And he and Ten Hag thinks he can play with those players. Like they're gonna get you the sack. Go
Can I
on,
ask you?
Brian.
You're gonna
Can
get
I
you
ask
the
you a
sack,
question?
man.
Can I ask you a question?
Facts.
Because I want to know why you lot rate certain managers. Because for me, the biggest trait that a manager needs to have is adaptability. And I agree, and I don't agree with Ten Hag coming in and he has to die with his ideal principles. In one way, I get it because you expected some type of football, but then let's just look at low in the league and we look at Burnley. I'm always very critical of Company because he came in at Burnley, played great football last season. Can't lie, played great football. Won the league. I think won the league a year too soon as well in this process. But won the league, came to the Prem, and the thing for me, the biggest issue is that they don't adapt to what's going on in the Premier League right now. And that's something that with Ten Hag, he came in, he tried to play his football, then something happened throughout the season where he just switched and he started playing more defensive. But the thing is that I like that he wanted to adapt a little bit to what was going on. Obviously, to what he's adapting to is not good, it's not great, it's not clear what he wants to adapt to. But at least like he's not. I don't like stubborn coaches. I like coaches who are flexible and I can change their mind sometimes.
Flexible,
So
fair.
yeah,
Yeah.
but that's the thing but that's why I'm a bit confused when everyone is saying, or maybe it's just Norwegian, maybe it's you, I don't know. But I don't understand when you then say, oh, but I want a manager that's gonna die with his ideas and principles, because we had that with other coaches, and then we was like, nah, you need to switch up sometimes. So I don't understand sometimes. That's for me, like I look at every other manager that came in and I knew what I wanted from that manager, but I also wanted
Brian, can I
flexibility
explain?
and be able to adapt to a certain
Can I
way.
explain, Brian?
Yeah.
Go on.
Can I explain, Brian? Right. The only person that I've ever regret when the team looked coached was Louis van Gaal.
Yeah.
The only manager we had.
I respect him more. I respect him the most.
But we weren't patient enough because he was getting 6th or 5th choice players, right?
Yeah.
When I look at, I'm not lying to you, every Burnley game that I've watched this season, every Burnley game, and I rate Company even more because you know what? I do, Brian. You know what I do? Listen to me.
Because he plays his way. Go on.
No, he plays his way. And you know what? Like anything in life, if you are somebody and say, this is my philosophy, you're going to do. Now, the best thing Burnley can do is to buy in January 3 quality players that can make a difference while they're on top. I watched every Burnley game. And every Burnley game, when I see the highlights on Match of the Day, they absolutely rip teams. They just don't score in those moments when they're ripping teams for one half or half and a half where they make chances. All you have to do, if you had money with Company, is to get in quality to make the big difference when they're on top in games. But that is all it is. It's not hard to fix.
We only have quality on these teams.
Those players.
That's why we only beat them 1-0.
We
only beat them
but
2.
Look at Burnley budget. Look at the Burnley budget.
No, come on, I understand. But the players that he got, I've seen them last season here. It's around my corner. I've seen all these players play, and I could have told you right now they were not good enough for the Premier League. And that's where same thing with Ten Hag is the same thing that he did with all the players that he got from there from Holland. Is you buy into a philosophy, you keep believing it, And for me, that's when I say, okay, but cool. I understand that you have a philosophy sometimes, but can you switch up a little bit? Can you adapt a little bit more to the Premier League? It's not the Belgian league that we're playing. It's not Championship that you're playing. You're playing now in the Premier League, and that's the same thing with Ten Hag. Is you got all the players from Holland, and I was against Amrabat. I was against certain players because I knew, like, he was just looking into a market that he already knew, but he didn't go out elsewhere and look for players that were more up for the level or more Premier League experience. We always say that Premier League bias and everything, but it's true. Premier League players know how to fit in that competition.
Listen, Brian, I'll give you that point. But listen, adapting to it for adapting to it, but then it's where you're adapted so much that you forgot all of your identity. There is a fine balance. It's a thin line.
Fine balance, yeah. Listen, that's it.
You adapt to a certain extent, right? But then you don't forget your fundamentals. And when I look at Ten Hag, I just see, honestly, I said it to Saeed, right? I said it to Saeed. First pre-season game, his body language changed. I know the club's been on sale. All of the circus that follows Manchester United. I want to know, if you were to give him the job again, would he do differently? Do you agree, Brian, that he's sacking himself right now? That because the run that we're on, Wednesday, I'm dreading. I'm not looking forward. I'm not been in the stadium for ages, other than when I went to watch the women's football. So because I had to take some time.
Been boring, man.
No, because I had to take some time for my own mental health. Because I'm coming back with a sore throat, screaming my head off, and I got to just protect my mental health, like, because these players don't care. These players don't care. So I'm screaming.
From America, by the way. Staffy's coming over for America. Big up to
Yo,
Staffy,
big up.
but he's coming over for America. But and I said to him, bro, make sure you're here and you don't expect a good performance. Just expect that we may scrape a win or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not easy, man. You know what I mean? My thing is as well, yeah. Big up to the super chat here from Simon Paul. He says, fellow Gooner wouldn't take Martial if Man United were paying his wages.
Ouch.
Listen, I'm not. By the way, let me just disclaim something. By the way, Martial also, if when he's sold in the summer, when he leaves in the summer, I'm not going to shed a tear. By the way, I'm just saying, yeah. The point of this argument was we need to have the same energy for all these players. I put on Twitter today, yeah. Luke Shaw. Why nobody has the same energy for Luke Shaw? Has been here for 10 years, yeah. And the amount of people crying, yeah, about Luke Shaw, it just shows you where this football club is at, man. You lot are crying about Luke Shaw and why he's not any different to Martial. Yes, he could have been sold easily during that 4 or 5 years or how long he's been here at the football club.
9 years.
That's
9 years he's been here.
10, yeah, exactly. It's the same energy for every single player, not only Luke Shaw. There's so many players I would happily get rid of and I want to move forward. But I feel like there's so many players that, but we're going to keep Bruno, we're going to keep that player, but he's all right. But Gallo's all right.
Saeed, listen, out of the whole squad, this is the 7 I'm keeping, yeah? The 7 I'm keeping. Højlund, Martinez, Ahmad, Garnacho, Kobe Manu.
Yep.
Mason Mount, because I've not seen him. I've not seen anything of him. So to give, it'll be on. I don't rate the guy, but it'd be really bad to not give somebody a chance to see if they're bad or good. And who else am I keeping? That's it.
None of the.
What does that tell you?
None of the young midfielders.
That's what I'm trying to say to you. But that's what I'm trying to say. Like, where does the book stop? This is what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to say Martial's level of, what would I say, ability is matching Luke Shaw's ability. No, I'm talking about energy. Rashford, Martial, all of them for me, yeah, when you look at it, yeah, you have to have the same energy. If you want to clear out, have a full clear out. There's
Saeed,
we'll pick that player. We'll pick.
Saeed, I'm not going to lie, but this is when I come back to the club, Saeed. This is when I come back to the club. Eric Ten Hag said he wanted to get rid of. By the way, the British players you know what it's called? I coined it a long time ago. It's the Football Media Racket Protection. That's what it is. It's British racket English protection, mate. That's what it is. You get protected.
Yeah.
Roy Keane told you, Gary was like, don't be too harsh on Harry Maguire. You know what I mean? Roy Keane exposed Gary Neville in the Sky Studios when he was like, yeah, Gary was like, Gary's like, and then Gary Neville keeps telling Roy Keane, Scott McTominay is a kid. Scott McTominay is older than fucking Rashford. He's nearly 28 now, Scott McTominay. I know. Like, it's ridiculous. But the point is this: in the summer, Saeed, this is where fans like you have to concede. He wanted to get rid of Sancho, Martial, McTominay, Maguire, Donny van der Beek, Fred. Yeah. Who else did he want to get rid of?
Is it counterproductive, though? Can I just say something, Loaded? Is it counterproductive, then, to say you wanted to sell them, but then now they're at the forefront of what your ideology is right now?
That's where he.
Is that counterproductive?
That's where he lost the players, I think. That's why when you look at Martial last season,
there's reports coming out today that the players are not understanding his philosophy. That they're not. But
he lost the players there. But that's the thing. That's where, as a club, we were nitpicking about fees, but we should have got these players rid, because if they stay at the club, why would I perform, or why would I give 100% for a manager that doesn't want me here next season? Doesn't make sense. And now all these players have to play, or they had a chance because certain players got injured, so now they have to play. But that's the same thing that I said about Martial not playing the whole season, and Højlund got injured, and now he's getting 2-3 games on the bounce. So it doesn't make sense, and that's why we should have got this. That's why we should have got rid of these players.
You know what's mad? Before we wrap up, yeah, I'm going to ask you a question. Yeah, do you not know Nordin, especially you as well? Do you think it's damning that you don't know what Ten Hag's going to be next game? You don't know what's going to be the team after that. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. You don't know who's going to play the next day. Like, it's so like. You don't feel like that's damning of his tenure. You don't know what the back line is going to be. You don't know what the midfield is going to be. And you don't know what the strike force is. You think it's damning, though? Forget the structure. Forget everything that's above it, yeah? He himself doesn't have a clear plan as to what to do and what to say and how to go about it. He doesn't know anything. Like, he's just so clueless and he's so stubborn that he doesn't know. Do you not think that's damning as well? That you don't know what we're doing on Wednesday?
So at this moment in time, he's telling me like Jackie Norris stories. If you live in the UK, see BBC, children TV. That's what he's coming out with when he was like, "Oh, we were in the game at halftime. We were doing this and we made chances." And I'm like, Manchester United reminded me. Remember back in the day, Saeed, right? England,
Yeah.
when England had no technicality, no technical ability, they just used to defend like dogs and then count on throw-ins and long throw-ins and corners. Manchester United reduced to that because he's got 8 of those players on the football pitch that got the manager sacked. We got, remember all the pain we went through, Liverpool 5-0, 4-something at Watford. All these pain that we've gone through. For me, I look at Erik ten Hag and I spotted it in the beginning of the season. And that's why, Saeed, I posted that video when he said, I'm not playing the style of football because I don't have the players. And I'm like, yo, I've seen Desebri and I've seen Ange. They don't all have perfect players, but they drill the things on the training ground. Brian is a pro footballer, right? Semi-pro professional footballer. If you don't drill, you're never going to see it on the weekend. But Ten Hag last season said, Saeed, no, it's about games, practicing the patterns in games.
Yeah.
That was unsustainable. I called it out in January, so I am not giving him that energy. All I just know is that my football club is so rotten and so broken, and no Jimmy will fix it. 25% BS is going to fix this. It isn't. If you don't believe me, look into Ineos's involvement in all the sports they've been involved in. Some people call it the Ineos curse.
Yeah.
This is not me. This is people. Called it the Ineos curse. So get ready, people. Get ready. I genuinely do not believe Saeed, we're rock bottom, but Erik ten Hag, for me, will be judged. He'll have to go back and build his reputation somewhere else again. But Manchester United, for me, I think you might be right, Saeed, that it's too big of job, too big pressure, too many.
Too big a job for him, man. Listen
to me. And the most important thing is too rotten for any one manager to come and do it without having all of the ownership, all of the structure, without it. And Ajax, he was successful, and people are like, but Ajax, somebody said to me the other day, but Ajax, look what he well left, a lot happened now. It's like, no, Ajax lost Overmars, they lost Van der Sar, and they lost Ten Hag. They lost the 3 people who were in charge of the footballing thing. That's what they lost. And of course, it was going to go to shit. But at this moment in time, Saeed, I genuinely do not believe anybody can come in and fix this. And Jim ain't fixing it. 25% is just an ego.
I disagree.
25% is just an ego. But for me, I promise you, I need you all to time it. I need you to, what I need to do, a little exercise, people, is to go on a time machine. Saeed, Nuruddin and Brian will be here in 2 years saying that the manager out. Hans Flick out! Deserby out!
But obviously, if hypothetically speaking, that the new owners come in and they're sacking every manager, then it's one of them. It's sack it until you make it, really. So we'll see. We'll see anyway. But listen, last super chat before wrap up. Zayn Yassi is here. We are on the FA Cup. We are on for the FA Cup Champions League. We have the best attack in Europe at the time. Who's Mbappe? Plus, we have the invincible record. You know what? On that note, it's probably the best time to wrap up because Zayn Yassi already just messed our brains up there, man. But listen, guys, I don't know if we've hit 500 likes yet. Please let me check if we've hit at least minimum 500 likes. It should be more, considering there's more people. But please, guys, hit the like button. 505. Okay.
Can I just say something massive? Solidarity and love for Saeed Miassi, Palestinian, and all the Palestinian people worldwide, man. Stop the genocide. Absolutely. Free Palestine.
Absolutely. Always, man. Always have that energy, people. But yeah, guys, make sure you like the video. We're going to be live on Nourish channel straight after this. Make sure you tune in for that one.
Chelsea preview.
Chelsea preview as well. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And Brian, big up to you for coming on as usual. Make sure you follow Brian.
Give me the score for Chelsea. Give me the score for Chelsea.
free. No. 2-1 United.
Free. Oh, man. I don't know if you know this team enough, man. I can't lie. Yeah,
Brian,
man.
You crap
Listen,
me
people.
We're
out. Take care. Bye-bye.